Today, you are going to learn how you can multiply a whole number and a mixed number. Ellie wants to make 5 blankets as gifts for her friends. It takes 2 2/3 yards of fabric to make each blanket. We want to find out how many yards of fabric does Ellie need. So here's our bar diagram. Y on top is how much we need. We don't know that yet. And we need to add 2 2/3 5 times, or we could multiply 5 times 2/3. When you're multiplying a whole number by a mixed number, you have to do a certain step. You have to change this mixed number right here into an improper fraction so you are able to multiply it. One way to do it is to take 2 2/3 and add it 5 times. What we're going to do, or like it says over here, 5 times 2/3, you can do 5 times 2 and then 5 times 2/3, and then you can add them together. We're going to do it a different way. So if I have 5 times 2 2/3, I'm going to make this other 2 bigger for you so you know it's a whole number. Here we go. So we have 5 times 2 2/3. We are going to change 2 2/3 into a mixed number. And the way that we're going to do that, into an improper fraction, we're going to multiply our whole number by our denominator. And then we're going to add our numerator, just like we practiced before. So I'm going to have 5, which as a fraction is 5/1, and I'm going to multiply 2 times 3, which is 6, and I'm going to add 2 more, which is 8, so I'm going to get 8/3. And we'll practice this in our notebook. Now we can just multiply across. So if I multiply across, 5 times 8 is 40/3. And now I'm just going to fix it. So I'm going to divide. How many times does 3 go into 40? Well, I know 3 goes into 4 one time. 3 times 1 is 3. I'm going to subtract and bring down my 0. And I know 3 goes into 10 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. I'm going to subtract and get a remainder of 1. So 13 and 1 over our denominator is 3. 13 1/3, which is the same answer that is right here. Okay, let's do the guided practice together. In the problem on the previous page, how much fabric would Ellie need if she wanted to make 6 blankets? Explain. Okay, so first we need to multiply 6 times 2 2/3, because if for each blanket she needs 2 2/3, then we need to multiply it by 6 if she needs 6 blankets. So I'm going to do this problem down here. So I have 6 times 2 2/3. We have to change this to 6/1 times. Now remember, when we're changing a mixed number into an improper fraction, we're going to multiply our whole number by our denominator, which 2 times 3 would be 6, and then add your numerator. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 more is 8. And we want to use the same denominator. So we're going to have 8/3. So now I'm going to multiply, and I'm going to get 48/3. I just need to divide to figure out how much fabric she's going to need. So I'm just going to divide 48 into, whoops, not 43. Let me fix that. We have 48 divided by 3. Well, I know 3 goes into 4 once. 3 times 1 is 3. I'm going to subtract, bring down my 8. 3 goes into 18 6 times, so my answer is going to be she's going to need 16 yards since it goes into it evenly. All right, number 2. It says, find 3 times 1 1/3 using 2 different methods. So, I have 3 times 1 1/3. First, I'm going to do it the way I just did it because I think that's going to be the easiest way for you. So we're going to change this to 3/1 times, our denominator is the same. Now to get the numerator, I am going to multiply 1 times 3, which is 3, and add 1 more, which is 4. So it's going to end up being 4/3. Now when I multiply, I will get 12/3, and I know 3 goes into 12 4 times, so my answer is going to be 4. Another way that we could do it is we could do 3 times 1 and then 3 times 1/3. All I did was break apart the 1 1/3. So 3 times 1 would be 3, and 3 times 1/3 would be 3/1 times 1/3, which is going to be 3/3, which is going to equal 1 whole, and 3 plus 1 equals 4. Okay, I'm going to draw a line here so you can see my work. We need to multiply, we are in number 3. We need to multiply 2 times 2 1/4. I'm just going to do it down here so it's easier. So we have 2 times 2 1/4. So I'm going to change this to 2/1 times, I'm going to leave my denominator, and to get my numerator, I'm going to multiply 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 1 more, which would be 9. And I'm just going to multiply across, so I'm going to get 18/4, and 4 goes into 18 4 times. Put your denominator. 4 times 4 is 16, 18 minus 16 is 2. So I'm going to get 4 2/4, or which would equal the same as 4 1/2. Last, I have 2 times 1 1/2. 2 times 1 1/2. I'm going to change it right under here so I have more room. So it's going to be 2/1 times. We're going to multiply, keep your denominator. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 more is 3. And I'm going to get 6/2, which is going to equal 3 wholes. Okay. You can go ahead and do the rest of the problems on this page, and then we will check our work. Please do them on a separate sheet of paper so it's easier for you to see. So do problems 5 through 18, and then come show me your work.